parked his car at a shopping center on a Saturday night. He was going to a movie at the theater 2 blocks away. He was gone approximately 4 hours. He came back at midnight and his car was not where he left it. A small sign at the edge of the lot, in letters he had not noticed in the dark when he arrived, told him that unauthorized vehicles were towed at owner's expense, and listed a phone number. Jake called the number, was told his car was at an impound lot 12 minutes away, and that retrieving it would cost $185 for the tow, plus $50 per day for storage. It was midnight on a Saturday. The lot was closed until Monday morning at 8 a.m. Jake paid $340 on Monday morning to retrieve a car that had been sitting on a paved lot for 37 hours, and the specific combination of anger, helplessness, and the feeling of having been legally robbed that Jake experienced on that Monday morning is the most important economic signal in the towing industry, because it tells the owner of that impound lot that his business model is working exactly as designed. Today I'm going to decode that business model completely and show you why the towing company that took $340 from Jake is one of the most economically resilient, most defensible, and most misunderstood small businesses in the American economy, and why the truck is almost irrelevant to the economics. It is the fence that makes everything work. The tow truck economics that barely pay for themselves. Here is the financial reality that most people who dream about owning a towing company discover after they have already bought their first truck. The actual towing operation, the truck, the driver, the fuel, the insurance, the maintenance, generates significantly less profit than most people expect. A basic flatbed tow truck capable of handling standard passenger vehicles costs between $80,000 and $120,000 to purchase, and requires between $12,000 and $25,000 annually in commercial insurance, $8,000 to $20,000 in maintenance, a driver earning between $35,000 and $65,000 per year, and $30,000 to $50,000 in annual diesel costs before the truck generates a single dollar of revenue. A busy tow truck completing between 5 and 8 jobs per day, at an average charge of $150 to $250 per job, generates between $750 and $2,000 in daily gross revenue, which sounds favorable until the daily operating costs of fuel, driver pay, insurance allocation, and maintenance reserve are subtracted, leaving a net daily profit from towing of approximately $150 to $500 per truck per day, which is a viable business, but not an extraordinary one. The business becomes extraordinary when the truck brings cars to the fence, the impound lot economics that change everything. Here is the economic mechanism that the description of this video identified with the most elegant possible precision. It is not the tow, it is the fence, an impound lot, the paved and fenced yard where towed vehicles are stored pending retrieval by their owners, is one of the most passive and one of the most profitable uses of industrial land in American commerce. Every vehicle that a towing company brings to its impound lot generates a daily storage fee of between $35 and $75 for every day the vehicle remains on the lot, and the economics of how long vehicles remain is the most counterintuitive element of impound lot economics. Jake's car was retrieved in 37 hours because Jake had the money, the credit card, and the ability to arrange transportation to the lot during business hours on a Monday. Many vehicle owners face more significant barriers. They need to gather the cash, arrange a ride to the lot, produce proof of ownership and insurance, pay any underlying fines or violations that triggered the tow, and navigate the administrative process of vehicle release during the lot's limited operating hours. The average vehicle stays in an impound lot between 7 and 30 days, and a vehicle generating $50 per day for 20 days has produced $1,000 in storage revenue. For a company that spent approximately $150 in fuel and driver time to tow it there, the lot that holds 100 vehicles at any given time, at an average of $50 per day, generates $5,000 per day in storage revenue, $182,500 per month, from a paved lot with minimal ongoing operational cost beyond the perimeter fence, the lighting, and the staff member who processes vehicle releases, the lien sale economics that few people know exist. Here's the revenue stream at the end of the storage cycle that most vehicle owners never anticipate, and that represents the highest margin transaction in the towing business. When a vehicle owner fails to retrieve their car within a state-mandated period, typically between 30 and 60 days depending on jurisdiction, the towing company has a legal right to file a lien on the vehicle, a legal claim for the outstanding storage and towing fees, and after the appropriate notice period and legal process, to sell the vehicle at auction or directly to a salvage buyer. to satisfy that lien, an abandoned vehicle worth $2,000 in auction, against outstanding fees of $1,200 in storage and towing, generates $800 of proceeds for the vehicle owner after the lien is satisfied. But in many cases, the outstanding fees exceed the vehicle's auction value, particularly for older or damaged vehicles, and the towing company takes full auction proceeds, with the effective result that a vehicle worth $1,500 at auction, which accumulated $1,500 in fees before abandonment, generates $1,500 for the towing company, from a car that was towed there by someone who could not afford to retrieve it. The government contract economics that are the real business asset. Here is the competitive dynamic that most people outside the towing industry never understand. And that explains why a towing company with government contracts is worth dramatically more than one without them. Most American cities maintain rotation lists of approved towing companies that are called in sequence when police officers need a vehicle towed at the scene of an accident, a parking violation, a DUI arrest, or any other law enforcement situation that requires vehicle removal. A spot on a city's police rotation list, which is awarded through a competitive application process and maintained by meeting ongoing compliance requirements, provides a towing company with a guaranteed flow of jobs at regulated rates from a counterparty that will pay without dispute, and that sends volume continuously, regardless of season, regardless of economic conditions, and regardless of any individual consumer's opinion of the towing company. The value of a police rotation contract to a towing company's total business value is so significant that when a towing company is sold, the continuation of its government contracts is often the primary determinant of the sale price. A towing operation without government contracts might sell for 1 times annual revenue. An operation with a major city's rotation contract might sell for 2.5 to 3 times annual revenue. The contract is the asset, the trucks are just equipment, the private property towing economics that generate the most outrage. Here's the business segment that produced Jake's Saturday night experience, and that is simultaneously the most profitable, the most legally contested, and the most publicly despised operating model in the towing industry. Private property towing, also called predatory towing in the media coverage it generates, involves a towing company signing a contract with a private property owner, an apartment complex, a shopping center, a restaurant parking lot, to monitor and tow unauthorized vehicles from their property. The towing company patrols the lot, identifies vehicles that do not have authorization to park, and tows them immediately, without warning, typically in the evening hours when vehicle owners are least likely to observe or interrupt the process. The revenue generated goes entirely to the towing company. The property owner typically receives a flat monthly fee for the contract or a small kickback per vehicle, and has no further financial relationship with the tow. The economics for the towing company are extraordinary. A driver patrolling a private lot can generate $2,000 to $5,000 in towing and initial storage fees in a single evening, from vehicles towed from a lot that the towing company does not own, and the storage fees accumulate from that evening forward, for however many days the vehicle owners take to retrieve their cars. The territory and relationship economics. Here's the dimension of towing business economics that makes it one of the most defensible small business models in America. And that explains why a successful towing operation in a specific geography is extremely difficult to displace once established. The towing business is fundamentally a relationship business disguised as a truck business. The relationships that matter with police departments, municipal parking authorities, city administrators, private property managers, and insurance companies managing roadside assistance programs are built over years of reliable service, compliance maintenance, and political navigation that new entrants cannot replicate by simply buying better trucks. A towing company that has operated in a specific city for 20 years and has maintained its police rotation contract, its AAA certification, its municipal impound contract, and its network of private property agreements has a competitive moat that protects it from new competition in a way that almost no other small business category can match, because the new entrant cannot get on the police rotation list without years of compliance history, cannot get the AAA contract without an established service record, and cannot win the private property contracts that the incumbent already holds, without offering terms that undermine its own economics. Here's what the complete economics of a mid-sized towing company look like in 2026. A fleet of 8 trucks generating approximately 6 to 8 jobs per truck per day, at an average of $180 per job, generates annual towing revenue of approximately $3 to $4 million, from which towing operating costs of approximately $2.2 million produced towing operating income of approximately $800,000 to $1.8 million, to which the Impound Lot adds 150 cars at average storage of 15 days at $50 per day, generating approximately $1.3 million in annual storage revenue with operating costs of approximately $200,000, producing impound operating income of approximately $1.1 million, and lien sale revenue of approximately $200,000 to $400,000 annually from abandoned vehicles. Total annual operating income, approximately $2 to $3 million from a business that Jake drove past every day on his way to work, and never thought about as anything other than the place his car went on the night he made a parking mistake. The fence is not a punishment for parking in the wrong place. The fence is a cash machine entity that runs 24 hours a day, that charges automatically, that has no employees except during business hours, and that is funded entirely by the urgency of the people who need their cars back. You have been decoded. If this video made you understand every towing bill you have ever paid, and every towing company you have ever driven past, in a completely different way, subscribe to Money Decoder 3004. Every single week, we decode the economics of the invisible businesses that extract value from every American life, often at the worst possible moments. Simply, honestly, and clearly, drop a comment below. What is the worst towing experience you have ever had, and what did it cost you? Tell me below. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next decode.